The rain started before sunrise, the kind that feels like it will never end. Behind the old grocery store in a narrow alley between two dumpsters, a small brown puppy lay on the cold ground. His fur was soaked, his body was shaking, and he was so weak that every time he tried to stand, his legs slipped and he fell. His cries were not loud, only a tiny whimper that the rain quickly swallowed. People passed nearby, but no one looked into the alley. A stray cat blinked at him and walked away. A crow watched for a moment, then hopped off. The puppy's eyes showed the same painful feeling again and again, cold, hungry, lonely, and forgotten. Still, he made small sounds like he was asking the world one last time, "Is anyone there?" Then a tiny kitten appeared. She was very small, gray and white, with wet fur puffed up from the rain. She stopped and listened, then walked closer, slow and careful. The kitten looked at the puppy, and the puppy looked back at her. In that silent moment, it felt like they both understood the same thing. They were alone. The kitten made a soft mew, and then she did something unexpected. She didn't run. She didn't back away. She walked right up to the puppy, pressed her little body against his side, and sat down like she was saying, "You don't have to shake by yourself." The puppy's tail moved just a little, a weak thank you. The kitten gently licked his ear once, then again, and she stayed right there beside him. Across the street, in a small backyard, a rescued duck named Momo waddled up to his gate like he did every morning. Momo belonged to an older woman named Mrs. Dalton, who fed him peas and talked to him like he was family. But that morning, Momo heard something different in the rain, a faint cry mixed into the sound of water and wind. He tilted his head, then pushed on the gate. The gate was usually closed, but the latch was loose, and after a few stubborn bumps, it slipped open. Momo squeezed through and stepped onto the wet sidewalk. Without stopping, he waddled straight toward the alley. When Momo turned into the alley and saw the puppy and the kitten, he froze in shock. The kitten stood up like a tiny guard and gave a small hiss. Momo made a worried, softer quack, then turned around and hurried away. For a moment, it looked like he was leaving them, but Momo was not running from the problem. He was running to get help. He raced back to Mrs. Dalton and quacked so loudly that she almost dropped her tea. She put on her raincoat and followed Momo, confused but concerned. When she entered the alley and saw the puppy, her eyes filled with tears. She knelt down slowly, careful not to scare them. She offered her scarf to the kitten first, because trust cannot be forced. The kitten sniffed it, then allowed it. Mrs. Dalton wrapped part of the scarf around the puppy's body, and his shaking eased a little. Mrs. Dalton called her neighbor Ben, a young man who often looked tired but had a kind heart. Ben arrived quickly in the rain and went pale when he saw the puppy. He gently lifted him and noticed the pup cried in pain. "Something's wrong with his leg," Ben said. The kitten stayed close, following every step, refusing to leave. Ben made a choice without hesitation. "We take them both," he said. "We don't split them up." He placed a blanket on the back seat of his car, laid the puppy down carefully, and the kitten hopped in and curled against the puppy's belly as if it was her job to keep him warm. Momo followed them to the car, but Mrs. Dalton softly told him he had done enough. Momo stood in the rain and watched the car leave like he was making a silent promise. At the vet clinic, the staff rushed the puppy to the back room to warm him and give him fluids. The kitten tried to follow and wriggled in panic, but Ben spoke gently and explained that she was with the puppy and would not hurt anyone. The vet, Dr. Ramos, told Ben the puppy had hypothermia and dehydration and his leg might be badly injured. She asked Ben if the puppy belonged to him. Ben swallowed, then said the words that surprised even him. "He is mine now." Ben sat in the waiting room shaking, not only from cold, but from fear. He had seen that look in the puppy's eyes before, the look of someone left behind too many times. Then a new tension entered the story. A man in a dark jacket walked into the clinic with clean shoes and a hard, irritated face. He spoke quietly to the receptionist and pointed toward the back rooms, toward where the puppy had been taken. The receptionist looked unsure, but the man spoke again, sharper this time, until she made a call. Ben watched everything and his stomach tightened. When the man noticed Ben staring, he gave Ben a cold look and sat down, waiting with his arms crossed, eyes fixed on the door. Ben did not know who he was, but he felt something was wrong. It suddenly seemed like the puppy's trouble did not start in the alley, and it might not end at the vet either.